Welcome to the Lean and Stronger podcast, or if you're watching this on YouTube, the Lean and Stronger YouTube channel. Today's video podcast is going to be about getting through Christmas, guilt-free, enjoying it, and a few ways to get around that, even whilst trying to stick to your goal. So if you like it, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, or if you're on podcast, subscribe. Give me some comments in the reviews. I'd love to hear what you think, and if there's anything else you would like to hear about, let me know. I'll be more than happy to work on these things for you, so you're hearing what you want. Right. So it's Christmas time. We're already well into December now, and we're getting closer to the periods of Christmas Day into New Year. And normally, irrespective of 2020 being a ridiculous year, there's always lots of food about, lots of drink, and like I say, typically there'd be lots of social gatherings, Christmas do, parties, etc. to be going to that basically throw out this opportunity and temptation to overindulge very regularly, and this can bring, I suppose, some anxieties, worries for people with the goal of weight loss especially, but even those on like a body maintenance as well, because the idea of over consuming will give them the worry of actually gaining body fat or scale weight, for example, and it can feel like quite an intense period where it's either go for it or have nothing. And there is a middle ground, and that's what I want to provide some guidance on today, is that there's a middle ground where you can actually have a guilt-free Christmas, because you should. You shouldn't have to not enjoy this festive time with your family, especially this year. So for if you're bubbling with your family and whatnot, these are people you may not have seen that regularly through the year. So you should definitely enjoy being around them as well, because we're not going to get as much social outings as we would or could normally. So, like I said, there's lots of food, lots of booze that flies around this time of year. Now, I suppose one of the first things that we need to get to grips with is that the food and drink that's available throughout December is available 365 days of the year for the best part. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of one thing you can't have at another time of the year. Christmas pudding would be weird in summer, but I'm sure if you really, really wanted it, you could have it. So there's no food that's out of bounds at any point in the year, which means you shouldn't begin to look at the food as in like, oh my god, this is the only opportunity I have to have this, so I need to have it all. Because then obviously the snowball effect of you have all of that, and then you see something else that you look at the same, and you have all of that, and then the calories will build up, and then that's where like your weight gain will come from, etc. And as a bit of a side tangent, that's okay, by the way. Weight gain through the Christmas period is fine. Like when if you're a client listening to this or not a client, like generally if we ever have the conversation at the gym or via check-ins or whatnot, for Christmas it's like, okay, allow yourself a couple of kilos to go up in weight if you want to be more relaxed with things. It's a period of time where you can actually look to kind of just maintain where you're at, maybe gain a teeny bit for where you're at. That's not a complete reversal of all the work you've done. In such a short space of time, it's going to be quite difficult to put on that much in body fat, providing you don't completely take the piss and you're thousands and thousands and thousands of calories over every day for 2-3 weeks and more. So we just need to understand and know that as well, right? So I lost my train of thought there, but the main point of that is essentially just understanding that the food is available all through the year. So you can have chocolates at any time of the year, you can have booze any time of the year. You just need to understand. So just don't treat it like it's going out of fashion, which means you don't have to eat it in quantities as if it is going out of fashion. which kind of leads on to the next point of guidance, so to say, is that you don't have to eat for the sake of it as well, just because it's there. Now we understand and we know that visual and smells can trigger in our minds the desire to have such things. So what you can do, a tactic, this isn't the only, this is just one idea, is to just kind of pause, stop, and ask yourself, are you hungry? Do you really actually want what's in front of you, or are you only wanting it because you've seen it and because it's there in front of you and there aren't other options? So if given the choice, would you actually want that cheese or that bottle of wine in front of you? If the answer is yes to either of those, then fine, have it. Take a portion, not necessarily all of it, depending on how big, obviously, whatever's in front of you, but, you know, a decent chunk. Enjoy it for what it is. Don't worry about the consequences of it thereafter, because then that's just going to kind of emphasize that guilt towards this, which is just obviously what we're trying to work against and not come across. And then be done with it. That's it. If you've enjoyed it, you've had it, that's it. If you find yourself looking at that same thing again 10, 15, 20 minutes later because it's just sat in front of you, ask those questions again. If the answer is no or no, don't have it. Or put it away, something like that, take it outside. Whatever's manageable for that situation. Now obviously we're going into tier 3, or we are in tier 3 now. Gyms are staying open. Obviously they won't be open Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and probably New Year's Day as well. They're general shutdown days for most gyms. But you can still keep up your exercise regime now. Or you can treat it as a week off. If we're going to go from like Christmas Eve through to New Year's, you could have that week of rest, let the body recover as well. Like, especially if you've been working out through the year and it's been quite a stressful year, you may feel like you need that time to actually recover. So resting and recovering is great, fine, perfectly advisable. But if you're someone that wants to continue to exercise, then continue exercising. You have your workouts from home. So we've posted on the Lean and Stronger website a free program that's twice a week that you can do in the gym and at home. Obviously, if clients listen to this, then you guys have your training programs on your Lean and Stronger apps, which you can follow, and you can continue to go to the gym and do your work home stuff. You've got access to many workouts through the website, and that's just going to keep you ticking over, keep you feeling good in yourself as well, because we know that exercise makes us feel good, makes us feel fitter, healthier, etc. So get moving, and if you're not going to go to the gym, try and get outside if weather permitting and whatnot. Try and get out of the house, moving around, walking around. Just enjoy the outside and any time off that you have, so you can recover and feel mentally fresh for when the new year comes around and we're back at it, aiming for bigger goals. And again, I suppose the last bit I want to emphasize for today is that a little bit of weight gain is fine. I know I've said this at the beginning, but just to re-emphasize, because it's really important. Our weights fluctuate from day to day basis, let alone just over a week period where we're just enjoying ourselves and indulging a little bit more than maybe we typically would. So get comfortable with the idea of that. Like, a couple of kilos is fine. A lot of this weight isn't actually going to be body fat, because it's just too short a time frame for it all to put on. Everything over the top becomes body fat. That's not how the body works. The body is a fantastic system, organism, thing that adapts to what we do. So it's probably a topic for another time, but like when we're over consuming, we're probably having a few more carbs than normal. Our water weight's going to go up, which is going to show on the scales, which for some people can cause a bit of panic. But let's just get over that idea that the scale is also the only thing that matters as well, because it isn't. There's many other factors we can look at, but a couple of kilos is fine. Before I go down a rabbit hole, I'll probably stop there, but just We want to enjoy Christmas. We've had a rubbish year, so you should enjoy Christmas. You are allowed to enjoy the food. You know, give yourself this permission to eat anything that you like. But think about the questions I've said, like, do you actually want it? Are you hungry for it? You know, try not to eat for the sake of it. Understand it's okay to have any of the foods that are available there. That's fine. A little bit of weight gain is also fine. I suppose the one thing I will add to the end of this, now that I think that fits better and quite well for this, is that the main worry is that when we overindulge and we keep going, we feel like we're going to slip back into old habits. And I suppose that could happen, providing you don't try and maintain the habits that you've built so far this year. So rather than going on a rampage for 2-3 weeks of just doing it and go, fuck it, what's the point? Understand and almost plan for 3-4 days of, okay, I'm going to relax a little bit, but on day Y, 28th, 29th, I'm going to get back on things. I'll enjoy New Year's Day Eve in today with a few drinks and whatnot. But then come the 1st of Jan, that's it, back to normal, you know, and we're back on it. And then you've only spent 4 or 5 days of potentially overindulging, so it's fine, you know. Like I say, that's not going to kill the progress or reverse everything you've done this year. And these are good mental attitudes probably to have for birthdays, Easter, whatever festive and celebratory things that pop up across the year. So yeah, think about those, see which work for you, and have a great Christmas. Enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing and hearing from you all in the new year.